Back at launch, I got every trophy in the second South Park game, but I never platinumed it purely because at the time I didn't want to play on hard. It's now been 7 years since I last played it, so I think it's time to finally platinum South Park The Fractured Butthole. So because we only need to finish the game, this is a speedrun, and we're trying to get to the end as fast as possible. The first thing we had to do was make our character. This is all just cosmetic and doesn't matter in the long run, but the thing I had to do was first install God of War Ragnarok and choose a black character. Our story starts like all good stories do, on the toilet. And we get a combat tutorial. Because this is meant to be a speedrun, I'm skipping cutscenes and not doing side quests, so this video is basically all about the combat. So we've got a normal attack, this fart attack that hits multiple people, and one of the coolest attacks in the game, you can even...
Stay out of the street, damn kids!
We did some epic parkour and chose our difficulty.
Pig was going to do a sweet jump, but then he just did that.
And then we chose our class. I hadn't done any research before playing, so I didn't know which class was the best, but I just picked the Speedster because we're going fast. Each class has 4 moves, 3 normal ones and an ultimate. The Speedster has a normal punch that hits over distance, has a move that lets you take 2 turns at once, but you skip your next one, and a dash that can hit multiple enemies. When you get hit, you recover some HP by pushing X, and this will also build up your ultimate meter. Once it's full, you can use your ultimate move. For the Speedster, it's just a super powerful punch. Because I've signed up for Ubisoft Club, I started with a few items from the get-go. The costumes are cosmetic and don't affect gameplay, but it does mean we can look like this. There is also some DLC that apparently give you some overpowered classes, but I don't have it so I won't be using them. Early on the difficulty doesn't matter, and you can get past most fights with common sense.
Wow, you really beat him! You saved me!
If you've never played the game before, outside of combat there's a bunch of puzzles to mix up the gameplay, but there's nothing too hard here. But we did have a super hard boss fight early on with Kyle's brother. He does a ton of damage and has high defense, but the worst part is, he has got so many special moves that do a ton of damage, like this one called Damage from Above. For finishing that fight, we got to level 2 and unlocked artifacts. Artifacts give you stat boost, and I think they just overall boost your damage and health. The Ubisoft Club items come in handy here because it means we start at 40 might instead of 15. In this fight, 40 minutes in, we officially chose to play on Mastermind difficulty. Apparently you can stick it on easy until this option comes up, but I was playing it safe. They also added Diabolic difficulty in an update, but thankfully we don't have to touch that. Early on, I was dying quite a lot simply because I hadn't learned everyone's moves and how to use them, and also you just take a lot of damage on this difficulty, so if you're not paying attention you die fast. Thankfully, even if some of your party members go down, you can still finish the fight.
This really do solve everything, you guys.
In this fight where you're alone against the priests, I had a massive issue. On his next turn, he's going to attack the tiles that are marked, so I can only stand in these 2 spots, but because of the awkward range of my attacks, I just had to skip my turn and I couldn't do anything. On the next turn I actually could do something, so I used my move to take 2 turns and hit him twice. The only thing is, that means I missed my next turn and couldn't dodge his attack. This whole fight was just an awkward combination of not being able to use my attacks properly, and when the first guy was down we just did so little damage, which ended up being the case throughout the whole game. Anytime we got a new party member I wanted to check them out, because like I said, I don't know who's good. Fast Past also has awkward attacks so he was binned quite fast, but I did like Mosquito's AoE move that also poisons people. I was just not vibing with the game at all, but we grinded some more and unlocked our secondary class. The Psychic can shield people, confuse people which also hurts them,
What? I can't think at all!
their ultimate heals and shields every party member, and they also have an attack that targets everyone diagonally. The game allows us to mix and match powers, so I ended up going mostly Psychic, but instead of the diagonal attack, we had the Speedster's double turn move. So our character was now basically on support. We would shield people, and then use our ultimate to heal everyone while also protecting them a bit. And we let everyone else do the hard work. At any moment we could change our class if we wanted, but we just moved on to nighttime and instantly unlocked a new party member. Early on I liked using Captain Diabetes just because he had a simple but powerful attack, and please remind me to never skip a cutscene ever again.
Come on! Oh, no, stop. Let's just talk. Let's just talk.
In this fight, we just have to follow Classy to the end of the hallway, so we just need to get the enemies out of our way to progress. But as we take them out, they just keep spawning. We were able to use these charge attacks to take out multiple enemies at the one time.
Look out, ladies and gents, here comes the queen of quickies, the mistress of BDSM, your dominatrix dream come true. It's spontaneous bootay. It's bootay time.
But halfway through, the fight completely flips. Instead of just having to get to the end of the hallway, we have to get there fast. In real time, this bar fills up, and once it gets to the middle, to make it worse, the enemies have knockback attacks.
That good for you.
But we have knockbacks of our own.
VIP experience. Oh,
Come here, baby.
Sadly, we got caught at the last moment, and oh captain my captain did not make it. So we continued on alone, and I genuinely thought I messed up here or something had glitched, but I didn't know how to get past these chairs. To make sure I wasn't wasting time, I took out the enemies on the other side, and honestly I just accepted defeat and shielded myself. I was thinking that I needed a physical attack to actually hit them, but yeah, it does turn out I can just confuse the chairs and get to the end scot-free. Because I was skipping cutscenes, of course I was missing out on a lot of the jokes and humour, but it did make some bits even funnier.
die, bandit.
We then got the ability to fart ourselves back in time. You use this for a lot of puzzles, but you can also use it in combat to skip enemies' turns. As we increased our crafting level, we could upgrade our Ubisoft Club artifacts at no cost. We also unlocked the ability to change your DNA, which buffs or debuffs certain stats. I made my confuse attack a bit better, but as a downside, I lowered my health. Another fight that caused me issues was this solo one against the Raisingiddos, purely because my only attacking move was the confuse one that hits a single enemy. So they got to group up on me, and when I attacked them back, it was so slow, and I had to take them out one at a time. After defeating them, another group comes in, which I was not looking forward to, but thankfully you don't need to fight these guys.
Oh my god.
As soon as the fight was over, I knew I needed to switch up our build, so I replaced the double turn move, which I wasn't actually using that much, with the diagonal attack, which came in handy immediately. We then unlocked Time Fart Pause. You use this the same way as the glitch, except it has a higher cooldown, but it's a lot better. It still skips the enemy's turns, but you can actually do damage to any enemy you want while the effect is on.
Cause I'm a super absorbent town.
You also have unlimited movement, which meant it was easy to finish this fight where you need to stand on certain tiles while you're on fire.
Hey guys, oh, hey, how you been, Eric? Oh, you're a cool guy, man. I'm psyched to see you, man.
Over the course of the game, you unlock different DNA, so I was constantly switching them out until I had one I was happy with. And it would not be a speedrun video on this channel without. New Game Plus was going well, but we lost time here and it wasn't even my fault. The game just bugged and the cutscene froze. So we had to close and open the game, and thankfully it worked a second time. If you notice the huge time skip, it's because we also had an OBS error and I lost the last hour of footage. You didn't miss much though, it was just more fights. We had now unlocked Colgiddo, who is one of the best party members. Probably the best thing about her is her move has infinite range, so she can stand anywhere and hit anyone. And also, it looks like she has the Scotland flag on her belt. The main downside is the sound effect will get stuck in your head. We now unlocked our third class, the Plantmancer. They've got a whip that pulls enemies, a huge knockback attack,
Aliens have sprung from the ground, dropping the alien bodies to the ground in a twisted wave of wood.
but the best thing about them is their ultimate attack. It revives and heals everyone in the party, which comes in very, very handy. If you look at how low everyone's health is, with one use of the ultimate it brings everyone up to max health. It also recharges so fast. You can see here, just by playing the game normally and making sure we were hitting all of the quick time events, we got our ultimate back so fast, which meant we could always keep our party topped up.
You would have done it.
This fight's interesting because it's basically a puzzle. When the bar fills up at the bottom, the enemy will slam the marked tiles, so you need to get out of there and ideally get enemies in there. Then in phase 2, on the boss's turn, it will slam the area and take damage depending on how many enemies it kills. I instantly knew I didn't have the right setup, so I restarted the checkpoint and changed my team and powers. We started off the fight well, got to the other side and used our knockback attacks to send the enemies away. And at the last second we got everyone on safe tiles.
Your servants and flay your enemies.
Then in phase 2 we simply used our knockback attacks to send them back. The boss takes a quarter of damage and the loop resets, so we need to do this 4 times total.
Kill the unbeliever!
Stan died, but thankfully with our new ultimate we could just bring him back.
All over.
On the final loop, we managed to get him to kill 2 enemies at once, which made him take double damage.
Bye-bye, asshole.
Another fight I like is this one right after against everyone. I don't know if anyone remembers Cloud Wars, but this made me think of it. In this fight, you're against your own teammates who've been brainwashed, but as you defeat them, you bring them back to your own side,
I'm ready to suck. Prepare to be swarmed.
and more people get added to the fight.
I'm so angry at you, new kid.
The ending is a bit awkward though because of the way the movement works. There's so many people on screen, and it's hard to hit the last enemy.
Incredibly annoying sound of my buzzing.
Thankfully, like I mentioned before, Call Girl has unlimited range.
You're gonna have to. Sweet superwood.
For a quick check-in as we're near the end of the game, we had a lot of might and unlocked every class at once, but I didn't end up changing any of my powers. One thing I think the game has an issue with is these large boss fights. It's hard to plan anything out, and it basically just boils down to stand next to the enemy and you're definitely going to get hit by them. We then entered the last stage of the game, where we go back in time and defeat our past selves.
The new kid sent us forward in time to when Cartman is already mayor. You have to take us back, new kid. Back to before this all happened. I think maybe the new kid has a fractured butthole. Fractured butthole? That's ridiculous.
This is another fun fight because it's basically split up into multiple fights, and you need to defeat each party member one by one, with your own party constantly switching.
King's strongest warrior can handle these weirdos. This is a job for the king's cunning rogue, Unshin no Jutsu. Whatever. Guards of the Dark Court, assist me in defeating these assholes. I'm sorry, my king. I failed you. Oh, jeez. Don't worry, I got this. Yeah. Get me down. They defeated the king. Fall back. Oh shit, the king's been defeated. Shit, I'm out of here.
And the final fight in the game is against Cartman. It's quite anticlimactic since for story reasons it's basically a joke fight, but after swiftly defeating them the credits played. All in all, hard difficulty wasn't hard at all, and I honestly kind of ruined the game for myself by skipping everything. And the speedrun ended up not even being that fast. If you haven't played the game before, I'd recommend just doing everything in one go and fully appreciate the game. But either way, don't take 7 years to platinum it like I did.